Q&A. How to promote my music when it's just me when I'm struggling with long-term illness was one question. Um, yeah, firstly, this was sent from a member of the who applied for this course, and I've got to say, I'm sorry to hear about your illness. Illness is never good, whether it's short or long. How to promote your music? Well, I think some of the things we have said tonight can work. You probably won't do the offline stuff if you're not performing out anymore. You'll be looking more at the online stuff. Some of the stuff that we mentioned to Mike, if you're on YouTube, can work. Some of the stuff that you can do on maybe your Facebook or your Instagram, but it's really choosing one platform. It's thinking about how you show up. And on that platform, apart from, although YouTube now has a community element, so you can actually type to your followers in there and treat it a little bit like Facebook, which I'm just starting to explore. But if you've got Instagram and Facebook, these are places where your posts are so important, where you're not going to put out photos of what you ate, stuff like that. You're going to put out some stuff really around music and your personality. You might be putting out about, you know, the weather today is really good, and it made me think of some words that I could use to write a song, for example. You might want to put some motivational posts out. If you're part of Musicians Union, you might want to repurpose some of their posts on your platform. You do want to put out videos. You do want to put. You can just do what you need to do, but I think it's going to be about frequency. If you're ill, it may not be something you can do every day, but maybe it's once a week where you say, right, this is something I can do once a week. I can write a post. And there's something I found work as well, that if you do have an illness, like Mike was saying about dementia and his age, I think those are great stories. People like to hear things like that. People like to hear the human side of individuals. So it may be like today was just a really tough day. It was a really, really tough day, but thank God, when it concerns music, I still can remember my songs. I can still remember this song that I sang when, and I'm just going to do a little verse for you. You might want to think about showing up live when you've got the energy to do live work, but to do live work, you do need to promote live work. You do need to give people like 4 weeks notice of that I'm going to show up and I'm going to do a lunchtime concert and I'm going to sing 3 songs. It'd be great if you could support me. And you have what you call your tip jar. Tip jars are really popular during COVID time, but you have your tip jar, or you have a link where people can just give you a little thank you and give you something towards doing more of what you do. That's how people usually put it. So maybe that's something that can work with long-term illnesses and promoting your music. And to conclude that question, there is a lady, and I need to find her, who does all of her music on the internet and raise a lot of money and makes a living by just putting out her music. Her music is a little unique. It is original material. So if you do songwrite, it's good to have some of your own material with some of covers as well, because then the covers people can relate to your own music, they'll listen to and appreciate. So, it is possible. There's a lot of businesses that do business online. Angela, did you want to add to that before I move on?
Yes, so because it's in this case the question is it's just you and like you don't have a team to help.
Mm.
What you can use is technologies that help you out. For example, integration apps that post in all different kinds of social media, but you only have to write the post once. An example of this is Buffer. You can also use Meta Business Suite to schedule posts. So if you're having a good day, then you record a bunch of videos or process a bunch of photos, and then you schedule them to go out in the next month or the next week as much as you can manage. So then if you have a bad day afterwards, at least you know that you don't have to worry about your social media because you already scheduled things before. So there is a lot of tools that help with this. I must say some of them are generative AI. Do not use those because it will hurt your credibility as a musician. Like if you use generative AI to create images for your posts, for example, people will be able to tell and quickly say, okay, this person doesn't respect the work of visual artists. Or if you use it to modify your music in any way, for example, add an orchestral arrangement or something like that, that will definitely hurt your brand. So I know that in terms of accessibility, generative AI looks like a solution, but it is not a solution. You know how your illness works better than anyone else. So use these tools that are just scheduling, that are just managing to optimize the work that you are able to do when you are feeling well.